Have you ever wondered what it would look like to be at your physical and mental best, not when you're 25, but when you're 75? That's the idea behind something called Peakspan. Unlike lifespan, which measures how long you live, or healthspan, which measures how many years you live in good health, Peakspan asks a different question. How many years of your life are you capable of performing near your personal peak? Now, before we go any further, it's important to understand that Peakspan is a relatively new framing of health and aging. It is not currently a consensus medical term, and there is no official clinical definition used by doctors or researchers. Think of it as a useful way to visualize healthy aging rather than an established medical measurement. That said, the science behind the factors that contribute to Peakspan is very real. Researchers have consistently found that people who maintain high levels of cardiovascular fitness, muscle strength, mobility, metabolic health, and cognitive function tend to live longer and remain independent for more years. So instead of asking, "How long will I live?" Peakspan asks, "How long can I stay capable?" Imagine two people who both live to age 85. The first person gradually loses strength, mobility, and endurance beginning in their 50s. By their 70s, everyday activities become difficult. The second person remains strong, active, mentally sharp, and physically independent well into their late 70s or early 80s. Both individuals have the same lifespan, but the second person has a much longer peak span. That's the difference. One reason this idea resonates with so many people is that it shifts the focus away from simply avoiding disease and toward maintaining function, because at the end of the day, most of us don't just want more years, we want more capable years. So, how do you know where your peak span stands today? There isn't a single test. Instead, researchers look at several measurable markers that are strongly associated with healthy aging and longevity. One of the most powerful is VO2 max, which measures how efficiently your body uses oxygen during exercise. Study after study has shown that higher cardiorespiratory fitness is associated with lower risk of disease and lower risk of death from nearly every cause. Strength is another major factor. Research consistently shows that people with greater muscle strength tend to live longer, remain more independent, and experience fewer age-related disabilities. Even something as simple as grip strength has been linked to future health outcomes. Muscle mass matters too. As we age, we naturally lose muscle unless we actively work to maintain it. This loss of muscle, known as sarcopenia, is associated with frailty, falls, disability, and reduced quality of life. Mobility and balance are equally important. Can you get up from the floor without assistance? Can you climb stairs comfortably? Can you carry groceries? Can you maintain your balance on one leg? These abilities often predict future independence better than many laboratory measurements. Researchers also pay attention to metabolic health. Blood pressure, blood sugar control, waist circumference, cholesterol levels, and insulin sensitivity all provide clues about how well the body is aging. And finally, there is cognitive health. Memory, attention, problem-solving, and processing speed all influence how effectively we function as we get older. When people talk about peak span, they're often referring to the combination of all these factors working together. So how do you extend your peak span? Fortunately, the answer isn't complicated. Exercise remains the most powerful intervention we know. Regular aerobic exercise improves cardiovascular fitness. Strength training helps preserve muscle and power. Balance and mobility training help maintain independence and reduce fall risk. Nutrition matters as well. Adequate protein intake supports muscle maintenance, while diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole foods, and fiber support overall health. Sleep plays a critical role in recovery, cognition, and metabolic function. And maintaining strong social connections appears to be one of the most consistent predictors of healthy aging. What's fascinating is that many of these interventions don't just help you live longer, they help you function better right now. That's what makes the peak span concept so compelling. It's not about chasing immortality, it's about maximizing capability. It's about being able to hike with your grandchildren, travel independently, lift your own luggage, get up from the floor, and continue doing the things you love for as many years as possible. Whether peak span ultimately becomes an accepted scientific term remains to be seen, but the underlying message is strongly supported by decades of research. The goal isn't simply adding years to life. The goal is adding life to those years. If you focus on building strength, improving fitness, protecting your metabolic health, and staying physically and mentally engaged, you're already working toward a longer peak span, whether the medical community eventually adopts the term or not. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more science-based health, fitness, and longevity content. And let me know in the comments, what are you doing today to extend your peak span?